The recent news from Iran has everyone on edge. But beyond the headlines, a critical question is brewing. Will this event make filling up your car more expensive? Why does a political event thousands of miles away have the potential to hit your wallet? Let's break it down. First, let's understand Iran's position on the world stage. Iran isn't just any country. It's a heavyweight in the global oil market. As one of the founding members of OPEC, the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, its decisions carry significant weight. Iran holds some of the world's largest proven oil reserves. Think about that for a second. We're talking about billions of barrels of oil sitting beneath its soil. Currently, it's one of the top oil producers globally, pumping out millions of barrels every single day. This oil flows to countries all over the world, especially in Asia. Now, let's look at the map. A huge chunk of the world's oil supply passes through a narrow waterway called the Strait of Hormuz. Iran's coastline runs along the entire northern side of this strait. This gives an immense strategic control over one of the most critical choke points for global energy. Any disruption in this narrow channel, whether real or threatened, can send shockwaves through the oil markets. So, what happens in Iran doesn't stay in Iran. It has a direct impact on the global energy supply chain. So, how does a change in leadership connect to the price of oil? It's all about policy. A country's leader sets the tone for everything, from domestic affairs to international relations. In Iran's case, the leadership stance directly influences its oil production policies. A new leader could decide to increase production to generate more revenue, which might lower prices. Or, they could decide to cut production to drive prices up, or use oil as a political tool. This is where the uncertainty comes in. The world is watching to see if the new leadership will continue the previous policies or forge a new path. Then there's the matter of international relations. Iran's relationship with major world powers, particularly the United States and European nations, is a key factor. For years, sanctions have limited Iran's ability to sell its oil freely on the global market. Any shift in leadership could lead to a change in diplomatic posture. Will the new government be more open to negotiation, potentially leading to eased sanctions and more Iranian oil on the market? Or will they take a harder line, leading to increased tensions and further restrictions? The answers to these questions will have a direct and immediate impact on oil supply and, consequently, on prices. And we can't forget Iran's nuclear program. This has been a major point of contention for decades. The international community, especially Western powers, has been concerned about Iran's nuclear ambitions. Negotiations and agreements have been on and off for years. A new leader might choose to accelerate the program, leading to a strong international reaction and potentially more conflict. Or they might be more willing to cooperate and adhere to international agreements. This geopolitical chess game adds another layer of complexity and risk to the oil market. Any hint of instability or conflict in the region makes the markets nervous. This brings us to the fascinating world of market speculation. Oil markets are not just driven by simple supply and demand. They're heavily influenced by perception, fear, and future expectations. Traders and investors are constantly trying to predict the future. When a major event like this happens, uncertainty becomes the name of the game. Traders might start buying up oil contracts, betting that prices will rise due to potential disruptions. This is called a risk premium. Essentially, the price of oil goes up, not because the supply has actually been cut, but because traders are afraid it might be. You can see this happening in real time if you look at the market tickers. On the day the news broke, you likely saw oil prices jump. This is pure speculation in action. It's a herd mentality. If some influential traders start betting on a price increase, others follow, creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. At least in the short term, the market is reacting to the possibility of a problem, not necessarily an actual one. This volatility can be intense. Prices can swing wildly based on rumors, official statements, or even a single tweet. It's a high-stakes environment where fortunes can be made or lost in minutes, and it's all driven by the psychology of uncertainty. So, what are the potential scenarios we could see playing out? Let's explore a few possibilities. First, the best-case scenario for consumers: a smooth and stable transition of power. In this situation, The new leadership quickly consolidates power and signals to the world that it's business as usual. They might assure the markets that oil production and export policies will remain unchanged. If the international community sees a stable and predictable government taking shape, the initial risk premium that was added to the oil price will likely evaporate, and prices could return to their previous levels or even dip slightly. This scenario depends on a quick, undisputed succession and clear communication to the outside world. Now, for the opposite end of the spectrum, a worst-case scenario. This would involve a power struggle within Iran. Different factions could vie for control, leading to internal instability and political chaos. In such a situation, the state's ability to manage its oil industry could be compromised. We could see disruptions to production facilities or exports through the Strait of Hormuz. This is the scenario that oil traders fear most. A significant disruption to Iran's oil supply, even for a short period, would cause a major price surge. Gas prices around the world would spike, and the economic consequences could be severe, potentially even triggering a global recession if the disruption is prolonged. Then there's the middle ground, which is perhaps the most likely outcome. The transition might be somewhat contested but ultimately resolved without descending into chaos. The new leadership might adopt a more aggressive foreign policy to consolidate their power and rally support at home. This could involve more assertive actions in the region or a tougher stance on the nuclear program. This would keep tensions high and maintain a significant risk premium on oil prices. We wouldn't see a massive price spike like in the worst-case scenario, but prices would likely remain elevated and volatile for a prolonged period as the world waits to see how things settle. In this scenario, we'd be living with higher, more unpredictable gas prices for months, if not longer. Each of these scenarios hinges on delicate political maneuvering inside Iran and the calculated reactions of other global players like the US, China, Russia, and Saudi Arabia. OPEC's response would also be crucial. Would other members, like Saudi Arabia, increase their production to make up for any shortfall from Iran and stabilize prices? Or would they see an opportunity to benefit from higher prices? It's a complex web of interconnected interests. So, to wrap it all up, will the recent events in Iran cause oil prices to rise? The answer is a definite maybe. It's not a simple yes or no. A short-term price jump due to market speculation is almost a given. We've already seen that. But whether we see a sustained increase in the price you pay at the pump depends on a whole host of factors. It depends on who ultimately takes control in Iran and what their policies will be. It depends on whether the transition of power is peaceful or chaotic. It depends on how Iran's new leadership chooses to engage with the rest of the world on issues like its nuclear program and its role in the Middle East. And finally, it depends on how other major oil-producing nations and global powers react to these developments. We are in a wait-and-see moment. The initial shock is being processed by the markets, but the real impact will unfold over the coming weeks and months. The key takeaway is that in our interconnected world, geopolitics and economics are two sides of the same coin. A change in leadership in a single, strategic country can create ripples that are felt by all of us every time we go to the gas station. It's a powerful reminder of how global events can have a very local impact. Thanks for watching. If you found this breakdown helpful, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the events shaping our world. See you next time. Oil markets react instantly to Middle East instability. The recent death of Iran's president has once again cast a spotlight on this volatile region, raising critical questions about the future of global oil prices. Historically, leadership changes in major oil-producing nations have sent shockwaves through the market. After the 1979 Iranian Revolution, oil prices nearly tripled. Today, Iran remains a pivotal player as a major OPEC producer. The nation's stability is crucial, as it controls the Strait of Hormuz, a vital choke point through which roughly 20% of the world's oil passes. Any disruption, from internal power struggles to aggressive foreign policy, could severely constrict global supply. Analysts warn that retaliatory actions, like targeting energy infrastructure or interfering with tanker routes, could drive prices well above $100 per barrel. While some factors may temper the immediate impact, the world is watching closely. The transition of power in Iran will be a key determinant of market stability in the coming months.